What's up, gang? This is Dom McDaniel of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and OneTrueSportTV.com. I'm flying solo today. Robert is on assignment this whole week, so you'll be seeing me. You'll be potentially seeing some special guests too. Sub in, make the hot tag for Robert. But I am here live by myself today, and I want to thank everybody for joining in. I already saw that Triple E was in the chat. He says, great job at IWC. Had to watch second time. Was smoking so much, didn't realize till 1/3 of the Battle Royal you was on commentary. That's right. Yeah, I guess I will start it off with that. First off, Wrestling Old Head says, happy Monday, Dom. Phoenix woke up today and chose violence. Yes, he did. We'll be talking about that too. We'll be talking about SmackDown as well. Also, there was something else I wanted. Oh, a little bit about what I happen to see on social media when it comes to AEW and what it means for like this Death Riders thing. But did want to start off with a little bit of local stuff going on in the Pittsburgh area. We had IWC, which is the premier pro wrestling promotion in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and was fortunate enough to be on commentary for that. The Pittsburgh Classic, 2 matches. Kevin Blackwood took on Spencer Slade in the opening match, and very fortunate to be there with Nick Lendl and BC Steele on commentary there. And then later on, I got to talk about the following match that you will see right here. It is the Pittsburgh Classic Battle Royal. It is for the IWC High Stakes title. It was on the line. Sam Handyman, local favorite in the area. He's been a champion for quite a while. Well-meaning individual. Marcus, my degenerate brother, was also in this match, and he has took exception to Sam Handyman. He actually lost to Sam in his debut match. So here comes the Battle Royal. Marcus was an active participant. Marcus ended up getting eliminated by Sam Handyman. And then later on decided to come back out and pull Handyman out, knock him out with what happens to be his right hand. And it is a loaded glove given to him by Ted DiBiase. And I know this for a fact that Marcus has a loaded glove. That glove is not just to protect his hand. It's to take people out. And let me just say this. Marcus, justice was kind of served in this regard. Directly, you have a bit of an ego right now, and it's quite insulting to the D'Angelo family, to the D'Angelo name, and to IWC, and to Sam Handyman. You better check some stuff out. Make sure that you are on the up and up, and do the D'Angelo name some justice here, because right now, you're going against everything that we are all about. So, wanted to say that first, but it was a great show. The IWC Pittsburgh Classic featured a main event of Duke Davis taking on the champion Bill Collier. You can check that out right now at Triller.tv. So be sure to take a look at the replay, and you can make your judgment for yourself. But wanted to say that out directly to Marcus. Yes. Give us a little bit more pride behind that name. Like, hey, Cousin Tony does, huh? All right. So, moving on. We got some good stuff to talk about this week. Did want to say, yes, Wrestling Old Head, Marcus pulled a Vader 1996 Royal Rumble. Yes, he did. And he is getting cold. He's getting cold for Christmas. That's at least from me, he will have that too. So be sure. Oh, this is a good point too here, Wrestling Old Head, you happen to say. Would love to see Blackwood, Stephen Wolf, and Calvin Tankman get WWE ID'd. Yeah, my goodness. Got to see, like I said, I called that Blackwood Spencer Slade match. First ever match I got to call, too, which was quite the pleasure and honor. But Kevin Blackwood, man, those kicks, he's just a striker. There's so much legitimacy to him. And same with Spencer Slade, too. These two put on a great match. And so I think either or those guys getting WWE ID'd would be fantastic. Not familiar with Stephen Wolf's work. Need to check him out. Calvin Tankman, I completely doubled down on that one because he is such a presence. He's got such this hard-hitting style, the heavyweight hustle going down. It was a pleasure to work with him while he was with MLW. And yeah, I think he is somebody that's WWE should really keep tabs on as well. I'll also say this too. In the IWC really speak about Kanan Christopher, rising star. Keep your eyes posted on him. He's got a lot of Barry Windham in him, and there's a lot more to see from him as well. So Good stuff. Yes, Wrestling Old Head. Go to Triller.tv and look at IWC. It's the IWC Pittsburgh Classic is the pay-per-view we want to check out. So it's on there. I believe all you have to do is subscribe and check it out. So it's a good show. Lots of great action and stuff like that. So very, very fun show. Cool environment. Those guys do a great job. So take a gander. Take a gander. All right. I wanted to talk about SmackDown. Wow. You think about what Raw did this past week when it came to the Raw after Survivor Series, and I gotta say, SmackDown did not disappoint whatsoever. From storytelling to matches themselves, this was a really great episode of SmackDown. We had the big heel turn when it came to the WWE Tag Team Championships. We had the Motor City Machine Guns thinking that they would be taking on the Street Profits, but they were taken out backstage. All this made clear that they could not compete. DIY came in and said, like, hey, we'll be willing to sub in. And all this made it official. And later on, we got that match. And wow, great angle here. Pulled a fast one on everybody. Johnny Gargano has been looking like the moral compass of the two. Tommaso Ciampa has pushed back literally and figuratively against Johnny Gargano of what he's been trying to preach against when it comes to Ciampa's handling of things and his attitude. But sure enough, this was all a ruse. All a ruse came into play, and we had a heel turn of heel turns when it came to Johnny Gargano, much akin to what the New Day did. So pretty cool to see this happen in the span of a week with two different teams and make it feel different, but also make them both feel significant at the same time. None overlapped or overshadowed one another. They just felt like they're in their own entity and realm. And this was great. I think this was a great way to build a feud between Motor City Machine Guns and DIY. Quite a great feud to really help further to the tag division on SmackDown and make things feel very, very much more important. So was a really big fan of that. Liked Johnny Gargano's a great heel. You know, he's on the smaller stature side of everything like that, but he's shown, like he did with the Way and NXT, what he's capable of being a heel. So really cool stuff. And Ciampa and him together make a great heel tag team. And what a compliment the Motor City Machine Guns will be for them as well as they chase those titles yet again after they were taken from them underhandedly. So was a big fan of that. Was a big fan of the Bianca Belair and Piper Niven match. The crowd was too in Minnesota. They were chanting, "This is awesome." This was set up at the beginning of the show later on, excuse me, between Piper and Bianca Belair. Her ribs were beat up, but man, what a feat of strength she did by showing she was able to hit is it the TKO? Is that what no, it's not called that. What's Bianca Belair's finisher name? I love it though. The Burning Hammer, FU, it's basically. And she planted it on Chelsea Green and got the pinfall win. So really establishes, man, Bianca Belair is such a star. I think she's very underrated in when it comes to the grand scheme of women's wrestling. She's absolutely in the top three, if not the top two. Rhea Ripley could be the 1A, 1B kind of thing. And I think, you would not miss a beat with either of those two because those two are the ones you want to really vie for if you're in the women's wrestling realm of things. You want to reach their level, reach their ability, reach their charisma. Both really speak for how great women's wrestling can be. Let's see. KOD, you're right, Trey Owens. Thank you. It is a KOD is Bianca Belair's finisher. So that's an interesting one, Devin. I think Austin Theory and Grayson are set to split up. If I had to make a guess, I think it's high time that they really do something different with Austin Theory. Make him a babyface. See how he does in that category because we haven't got to see that from him yet. And I think they're just kind of treading water right now. And Grayson Waller, just as a heel solo act, only elevates him a little bit more. I'd like to see them venture away from one another. That wouldn't be bad. I would be in favor or Ethan Page joining up with Waller. So I wouldn't be against that necessarily too, Ethan Page and Waller. It just kind of feels like Waller's, hey, let's put him in a tag team. Let's put him in a tag team. That you might get that kind of thing going with him, and I wouldn't necessarily be for that aspect of it because Ethan Page has shown they can both be solo acts and be okay. And maybe, hey, if WWE has an interest in somebody like a Josh Alexander, you could reunite the North ultimately at some point in time if you really wanted to, and maybe you could put a pin in what Ethan Page is going to be doing, whether that's in NXT or in on SmackDown, or maybe on Raw. Yes, Devin Dallin, I agree. Women's Rock and Stone Cold currently, yeah, they are. I think they really are. And plus you got Jade Cargill, plus you got Tiffany Stratton, plus, I mean, Becky Lynch is going to be coming back, I'm sure, at some point. And geez, who else am I missing? Liv Morgan. I know I'm missing somebody on Raw too. There's a plethora of women's talent, and I mean, you look at that NXT women's roster, and holy smokes, they are lined up for years to come when it comes to women's wrestling. When those gals down there get a chance to really show who they are and flex who they are on the main roster, gonna be some good stuff. Who does everyone I really enjoy the comments, so I dig it. Yeah, Carmella too. That's another one that could be coming back. Really good. Charlotte Flair. Jeez, Dre Owens just mentioned Charlotte Flair. So yes, I agree there too. What else did I want to touch upon? So we had a cool little thing. I think LA Knight cut a really great. I almost said great, but then I was like, maybe it's good. So I'm going to go Grood promo against Shinsuke Nakamura. I think, he obviously still gives off The Rock and Stone Cold vibes, but I think this was really, he had some meat behind his teeth when it came to what he was saying about Nakamura and taking his title and kind of saying emphatically, well, I got these Miss Shades or whatever you called them, the Miss Shield or something like that. And like really took it verbally to Shinsuke Nakamura. And man, I absolutely love this version of Shinsuke Nakamura. The look, the grin, the body language, the outfit, it complements him so well and really charges him up as like you could put him in a main event at some point here and like make him a champion, make him take the title from Cody, and I would completely be fine with that at some point. I honestly would. Because he's such a great heel. He's got that look, the black mist coming out of his mouth. Really, really fantastic stuff. At some point, I hope they follow up on the little alliance he made earlier. Was it over a year ago with the Great Muta? I'd like to see them follow back up, whether that's an appearance from Muta, or even just like a video acknowledgement of Muta being a presence that helped out Nakamura. But this is good stuff. And then you had Andrade come out, and then you cross those roads. Robert and I were talking about this last week, where you cross those roads, no pun intended, when it comes to different storylines getting in the mix of everything. So you had the Bloodline attack these guys and kind of run roughshod on some of these talents. We saw that with Apollo Crews earlier on in the night. And you just continue to you want to try to reestablish the new Bloodline as a hot act. And I think it was good. Another pun, this pun's kind of intended, was that Solo Sikoa acknowledged that, hey, where the Bloodline is not done, the Bloodline is not going to look weak. Like he said that outright. And I think that's good to do. I think, because you want to do everything you can to kind of, reestablish this as a wild faction, particularly when it comes to having Jacob Fatu there. He is the breadwinner of that whole thing to make this all happen. And so I think what they did was a good follow-up. We didn't see Roman on the show, which I think's fine. I think's okay. You can tease what's to come later on, like next week or whatever they decide to do when it comes to that. So, oh my God, my contacts are acting funky, but trying to read what do you guys are saying here. Tozawa should join Nakamura. Now that would be interesting. That'd be interesting, Dre Owens. I think you could do that. I think that would be actually really great. Yeah, have him be his like right-hand man. And you don't necessarily create a tag team with them. I think you just have Tozawa be a compliment to Shinsuke and just elevate him, and then you could make him a singles wrestler as well.
So a lot of Dom conversation going on, not me. Uh, I Lots of thoughts about Dom as a babyface ladies man going over really well. Let's see, that's what Wrestling Older says. When Liv eventually dumps Dom, he's gonna get sympathy heat and chicken tendies chance. Dom as a face ladies man is going to go over really well.
Yeah, that's going to be a delicate process, I think, though. I think people really love to hate Dom. And so to position him over as a heel or a baby face, going to take a little legwork and a little bit of thought behind it. I think it's plausible. I definitely think you can do it at some point, but you definitely got to walk that line of seeing where you're going to get most value out of him, whether that's as a heel or baby face. And I think there's still some viability in Dom as a heel, but yeah, I think you're onto something, Wrestling Old Head, for sure. So yeah, what else did I want to touch upon when it came to SmackDown? Oh my gosh, yes, the Kevin Owens stuff. Really, I love the thing in the car with Michael Cole. They're finding some neat ways to present and produce Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens is doing a really great job at being this jerk, being funny at the same time, but still that adding that legitimacy to his fight game and what his animosity towards Cody Rhodes is. And I think it was a good presentation of all that with Michael Cole, and Michael Cole being like this moral compass of being, hey, this is your own doing here. You're like, this is on you, and everything like that. And Kevin Owens kicking him out of the car, and that whole bit was a lot of fun and good stuff. And then we saw the follow up too when it came to Cody Rhodes getting attacked by Kevin Owens and him focusing on the ankle. I will say, I love Chad Gable vying for that championship and being over here for the to try to challenge Cody and stuff like that. I think you could have built a program out of that. And I know Chad Gable is like in this situation where he's with what is the name of it? Why am I blanking? Not Team America, not America's top team. Alpha Team America, American Alpha. Is that it? American Alpha, is that it? Am I right on that? I feel like I'm right on that. American Alpha, am I correct? Him being in that faction and stuff is great. I love it. I really think you could have a program with Cody, and that would only help Chad Gable in that faction get over. So I'm kind of bummed. I think it was a good thing to do, mix it up and have Chad Gable on there and tell that quick story. But I think it's a missed opportunity right there. American Made. Thank you, Jake. American Made. American Alpha was him and Jason Jordan. That's right. There's Alpha Academy. There's American Alpha. There's American Made. So crazy. Guys, if you haven't seen it yet, too, on Instagram, R-Truth wished Chad Gable a happy birthday, but called him Kurt Angle. Tagged Kurt Angle on it. Some quality work there. Quality comedy. But yeah, great episode of SmackDown. Tiffany getting the win too in that triple threat match in her hometown, or not hometown, but home state, I think is good stuff. I think really is a big thing for everybody to really latch upon and kind of mix things up when it comes to, hey, who's going to win all this? Because Chelsea Green's in there and she's like, tapped to be, she's a heel, but like the fan favorite to maybe win this title, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have somebody like Tiffany Stratton, who you could also see winning that championship. So I liked it. And SmackDown was just an overall really, really great show. And same with Raw. I have not looked at the Raw preview yet. So I don't know what is on tap of there, but let me see what we got. I'm sure there's something cooking when it comes to Raw. Let's see here. Raw preview, taking a look. This is courtesy of my former place of work, WrestleZone. So shout out to Frank Ward for writing this. Rhea Ripley taking on Raquel Rodriguez on WWE Raw, so that'll be a good match. That's another thing I would love them to see build a program with. I hope we don't get a clear-cut winner here when it comes to Rhea Ripley. I think, you want something to happen where it kind of protects Raquel
I think you could build a great feud with these two later on. Again, some of this stuff, I love what they're doing. I love it, but I think you can stretch this out a little bit more than what we're getting here. Lyra Valkyria, Selena Vega versus Ivy Nile in the women's Intercontinental title tournament. This is a tough one. I really think, you want to continue to build Lyra Valkyria, but has she hit some sort of plateau when it comes to the current role she's in, whether that be as a babyface or how she presents herself? I like her. I think she's really, really talented and does have that babyface connection. I think there's just something that maybe needs to be done differently in a certain way, but I overall really like her. Now, Ivy Nile, I think, would be really, really good to advance in this, though, as well. And, establishing American Made, if she's the one to win that title, boom, you're establishing that faction in many ways by giving that title to her. So I wouldn't necessarily be against her winning as well. Oh, here we go. So we're getting the Wyatt Six versus the Final Testament in The Miz. Man, love what Karrion Kross is doing in this new persona, Wrestling Old Head. I did watch that video that you tagged me in, and I thought, wow, I just love the presentation of him with the jacket, the hair. He's a good-looking guy, but he's got this menace about him, and I think they're finding that great role. I think Robert and I talked about this last week a little bit, but love what the presentation they are doing with them. I almost want to see them get the upper hand still on the Wyatt Six. Make them viable. Don't make them just like, hey, this was the next feud for the Wyatt Six, and now they're over and done with it. I think there's some legs with this too, where you can, again, stretch this out, make this a good program, and maybe ultimately we see Karrion Kross versus Uncle Howdy one-on-one, Bo Dallas. Really, really hoping they do get rid of the wig. You can keep the mask, but just get rid of the wig. Get for Bo Dallas. It's very Spirit Halloween. I think you can. I think there's a lot you can do with those guys. And I want to see more of Paul Ellering. Once maybe he comes back and screws the Wyatt Six over. I would like something like that because Paul Ellering can cut a promo, and he can obviously. I mean, he was with the Road Warriors, so it's just like get him more in the mix. Make him be a big talking point and a big major more focus of the Final Testament. He and Karrion Kross can complement one another very well and have this menace feeling that you want from a heel faction to be like, wow, okay, what's next for these guys? I want to be propelled to see what's next, not just for the Wyatt Six, but for the Final Testament. So that's how I feel about that. Devin, I'll talk about that one in a second. Wrestling Old Head does say, I agree, Dom. Cross's promos are special on Twitter. They just have to translate that to Raw. Absolutely. I think you need to really give Kross those opportunities to showcase what the Final Testament can be about when it comes to your Monday Night product. Now, I know you only got 2 hours. You only have a 2-hour time frame. You can make it happen. You can definitely make it happen. Trying to see. My contacts are so screwed up right now, so I'm just trying to look. I get in close. All right. Cool. Here, let's see what else we got on Raw here. Drew McIntyre to address the attack on Sami Zayn? Question mark. I'm sure we will. Drew McIntyre made a surprise return, so it'll be. I am intrigued to see what this is when it comes to Sami Zayn and Drew. Sami is a top babyface, no doubt. He's also very attachable to the crowd. You'd think it's hard to follow up on such a feud of the year when it comes to Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. Wow, it's tough. I mean, it's tough. What's next for Punk? Is vying for that world championship. He's already a big established star, and Drew is establishing himself as a top star. So Sami Zayn is there as a top face, but it feels like a little bit of a dip down. However, I will say this. I think McIntyre and Zayn are both very capable of making this a really compelling feud for a while. Sami Zayn has shown the ability to continue to find himself in a situation and make the most out of whatever he's doing. Like I said, I think
I was very much against him winning that Intercontinental Championship against Gunther. I thought it should have gone to Braun Breaker right then and there. And you establish a new star right away by having him defeat Gunther. But they had a story to tell with Sami Zayn. And I think the follow-up of Sami Zayn being that Intercontinental Champion was really well done. And that's a credit to Sami, I think, in a lot of ways, obviously. So I think they did a good job. And so if you look at the track record that Sami Zayn has shown that he's capable of, I think moving him onto something with Drew McIntyre is actually a great follow-up to CM Punk. Because I think last week too, I was maybe questionable of it, but now that I just look at it from a surface standpoint, I think these guys can have a really, really great program together, and you continue to have McIntyre in the mix of stuff like that. Now, McIntyre, you would think, would be moving on to something real big, but there's so many things to answer to leading into WrestleMania season that it's tough to get everybody in a certain position where it's like, okay, Drew, we want you in a world title program. Well, we can't necessarily put you in the world title program with Gunther because you're both heels, and you're not on SmackDown. But a Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes feud would be cool. So maybe, but also you have The Rock in the mix potentially. You have Roman Reigns in the mix. You have John Cena there. There's a lot of floating elements in here, and so to position Sami and Drew together, I think is a very savvy move. All right. I can't go too over this week or this Monday because I have my landlord's coming. I got to pay him the rent money. He might stop by at any moment. He might make a run in now. I don't even know. I told him after 12:30, but we'll see. So I do want to talk about the Ray Fenix thing. If you haven't seen it, Ray Fenix had some words on X regarding his current company, AEW. So he said some stuff. Okay, December 7th, he said no one stays in a place where they received inhumane treatment. So, very vague. Inhumane's pretty strong because he's getting paid, but they're kind of holding him over the coals too. Not the coals, they're freezing him, it seems like, because he's not on television. They really didn't do him or Penta justice when it comes to how they've been portrayed in AEW. They did them quite a disservice because they were such a great tag team. They could have really been built up as your premier tag team, in compliment to the Young Bucks and compliment to the FTR. You could have had these three huge acts for your tag team division, but you cut Fenix and Penta apart. They're both viable single stars too. So they really didn't do Fenix nor Penta justice in AEW. Now there's two sides to every story. I don't know the whole encompassment of stories, but Ray being vocal here saying no one stays in a place where they received inhumane treatment seems like that's a little much, but I kind of understand maybe where he's coming from when it comes to like, hey, how I've been treated, but inhumane is a little much. It's a little much. But hey, he follows up 4 hours at this point ago. He says, I needed a doctor and you ignored me for months. So he's talking about him being injured and being on the shelf, and now he's being frozen because of that injury. So he's still under contract for that expended made-up injury time, and says he's needed a doctor and you ignored him for months. So that's quite an accusation. Really being able to air these grievances online when it comes to AEW is frustrating. Disappointing just across the board. I'm not saying like disappointing in AEW because I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. Did they ignore him? Did they kind of table it or not really acknowledge what was going on with him stuff? I don't know. It's hopefully there's more to come from this where it's like we get a little bit more clarity, and I'm sure we will. Dang it, my stinking contact. Just trying to see what people are saying here. Wrestling Old Head said,
Phoenix read all the comments about him not knowing the meaning of inhumane and chose violence. Yeah, maybe he didn't know what. I don't know. Maybe it lost in translation, so to speak. But yeah, just a weird situation. Just disappointing overall because you just, like I just said, you think about what they could AEW could have done with Phoenix, what they could have done with Penta. Takes two to tango. So, like I said, don't know how maybe they handled themselves differently in AEW that didn't favor them, but still, there's money to be made, and ultimately, that's the grand scheme of pro wrestling. When there's money to be made, business comes first, and so having Phoenix and Penta under your umbrella and not making the most of them, not creating masks that you can sell to kids, not marketing them as your top lucha stars and basically your next Rey Mysterio and Juventud Guerrera. I don't know, like you name your famous luchador, but like these are just head scratching, very head scratching, very much of a bummer, and very much I'll be direct, a reflection of how AEW has handled some of their top talent. Wardlow, where is he? Ricky Starks. The list can go on and on and on. It's hard to tell. So yeah, I just not a good situation. Quite a bummer. I'll close it out with this. Just trying to see comments again. Close it out with this. I think I saw a clip online of again. This must have happened on Collision. Now you folks can tell me. I saw Moxley and the Death Riders pouring cleaning fluid again down Orange Cassidy's throat. Am I correct on that, or was there something else that happened on the Collision? It was either they were pouring liquid, or they had a drill, like they're going to drill out his teeth or something. Here's something that you guys remember Riot Squad, right? In WWE, it was Liv Morgan, it was Ruby Riot, now Ruby Soho, and then who was the third person? Sarah, what'd they call her back then? Valkyria, but Valhalla, Sarah Morgan. Was it Sarah Morgan? Either way, they were the Riot Squad, and they were supposed to cause chaos backstage, and they really didn't do anything. They were like pushing garbage cans over. They were doing a whole bunch of different like minuscule stuff that really didn't matter, like leaving the bathroom door open. I don't know. It was really like basic, like, okay, you're not really causing a riot here. Well, we've been critical of like the Death Riders, of what they've been doing. Like they're just this like pseudo NWO, and it's really weak. Very Riot Squadish-esque in what they've been doing and how they're presenting these guys. Like, okay, oh man, you're attacking Dark Order, you're taking out Evil Uno, and they're coming back later on in the show. All right, whatever. And now they go to the next extreme. It's like one extreme or the other. Now, NWO, you could kind of maybe see them doing something like that, but it's like they were violent. They like took wrestlers out. They did what they did outside of a ring and using their strength and physical prowess to take out roster around them. Plus, they had baseball bats, weapons. You're kind of really making this outside of the realm when you're using like cleaning liquid, plastic bags. Like, what is, and John Moxley, I think, didn't he say at one point this was like for the greater good that you wouldn't understand? What's the greater good when it comes to trying to pour cleaning liquid down somebody's throat or putting a plastic bag over their face and nearly suffocating somebody? They don't know what they're doing here. It's just stupid. It's not making me, it's not attaching me to any of this anymore. It's making this feel like just a ridiculous angle. And I said this a couple weeks ago when I was by myself on the show, was they cannot be afraid to pivot away from this, because this is not good right now. And there's nothing making me believe that this is going to get any better. And that, the only thing that they're doing right now is what they're doing with Claudio in the Continental Classic and making him feel like this world beater.
Otherwise, this is just low, stupid, like unbelievable stuff. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I just think you had the options, you had the potential to make this something really, really compelling, and you missed your opportunities by. Yeah, you want him to take out the Dark Order? Have him take out the Dark Order, but have us not see the Dark Order ever again. Have them rip off Evil Uno's mask. Have them just annihilate. Oh my God, why am I blanking on the guy's name? John Silver and oh my God, I feel so embarrassed. The other guy's name. I can't remember. Either way, have them take those guys out. Just they take them out. When they take them out, they take them out. Then they move up in the ranks. They take somebody else out. They take a big name out. You know, you unmask Excalibur. Boom. Change the whole dynamic of the show when it comes to that, because he's your play-by-play man. There's stuff that they could have done to really cause a ruckus, as Wu-Tang would say, and they did not do it. Just missed opportunities with this stuff. I think there's so much more that you can do. You could have done with the Death Riders. Is it too little, too late? I'm getting that vibe. And like I said, don't be afraid to pivot. You see this in the NFL all the time. You see this with established, credible football teams. The Philadelphia Eagles, I don't like their head coach, but they're not afraid to pivot. The 49ers, they weren't afraid to pivot from their draft pick, Trey Lance. They moved on from him. He was a 3rd overall pick. They moved away from him and got to Brock Purdy. Tony Khan's got to be able to see this through and just, this is not making sense. This is not doing it. It's not cutting the mustard. Maybe Moxley has some different ideas, or somebody else that can really to propel this forward, but this is not working. It's not working. All right. That'll do it for me today. I appreciate people chiming in. Yes, AEW does need a developmental system. I agree with you. Let me just want to see. I want to make sure I'm not missing any good comments here. Not that all your comments aren't good, because I appreciate everybody chiming in. But yeah, there's musicals are great. I do like Wicked. I'd never seen Wicked. I like The Wizard of Oz. I'm a big musical fan. I was in musicals while I was in high school and in college. Into the Woods, big fan of Into the Woods. I was Jack in high school. I was also Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors. So I would love to get back into the musical realm of things. But yeah, musicals are great. I'm glad I took that comment over other ones. All right. Yes, that'll do it for me. Did want to plug again, if you are interested in seeing me and my degenerate brother Marcus, you can go to Triller TV, Triller.tv, I believe, and you can subscribe and check out the Pittsburgh Classic. It's a great show. Really shows what Pittsburgh, that promotion is great from. Elias is back there. He goes by Elijah now, but he is there. He was playing a big factor in there. And Kevin Blackwood, got to see that match. It's great stuff. Duke Davis versus Bill Collier, shout out to them too. Just overall, a really great show and really great presentation. More to come from that. So yeah, check that out. Hey, new episode, One of Kind with RVD is live now on YouTube, on rvdtv.com. You can check it out. Rob covers a lot. We covered WELFG. Didn't even talk about that today. We'll touch upon that tomorrow. WELFG, that new program. I talked to him about CM Punk and how he's been helping out down in NXT. And then Rob has direct comments for all rising talents in pro wrestling after that. He's giving his own advice. So be sure to check that out. That is up now. Oh, and he gives his thoughts on Jesse Ventura too. So, but you can check that out now. rvdtv.com. Check it out. Trying to think what else I want to plug. New Work and Stiff obviously happened over the weekend. And then I don't think they did a Patreon yet. No, they haven't done a new Patreon for this week, but be on the lookout for that. Robert and Scott always do a great job. I always get a kick out of what they say. Our group chats are fantastic, by the way. Let's just say that. So yes, be sure to do that. Give us 5 stars across the board, whether you're talking about Rumor and Innuendo, which we go live on the Work and Stiff YouTube, on the Ad Free Shows YouTube, on Rumor and Innuendo YouTube, on WE Creative _ YouTube, on SEScoops.com's YouTube, X account, on WE Creative _ X account, and on my X account now too, at Dominic D'Angelo. Ooh, got to do a quick ad read. So, man, really working up a sweat talking about all this stuff. Hopefully I don't have too much of a funk, but you know what? I know I don't have a funk, and I don't mean a Terry funk. I'm talking about Mando. Yes. Do your balls stink? No, they don't, because I got Mando. And I love Mando. I love what they do when it comes to deodorant, when it comes to the products they do, from the body wash to the bar of soap, man. And my favorite scent is Mount Fuji. It makes it great. Mando is so unique because it has a great scent, but it's not overpowering. It's not like an Axe body spray. It's not like this broski kind of overpowering smell that you get. It is a great product. Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. Perfect stocking stuffer for folks too. When it comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 times, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special for our offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code RUMOR at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. And you do too. I just used it this morning because I actively looked out for my Mando deodorant stick, and I put it on because I knew I wanted to smell good when I went to do my shoot job at Whole Foods starting off early in the morning. So there you go. Otherwise, that should do it for me. Let's see any final comments here. Yes, feed me Seymour. Feed me Seymour. Feed me Seymour. I did not see the new Joker movie, but I think I might like it if I did see it. And I didn't see the other Joker movie too with Joaquin Phoenix. So I have to check both those out, and then I'll give you my assessment. I'll add that to my list. I'll add that to my list. So all right, guys, I will see you tomorrow here on Rumor and Innuendo. Do I have any final comments to say when it comes to a little zinger? Not really. Simpsons football's tonight between the Cowboys and Bengals. So Joe Burrow, welcome to Springfield. How about that? All right. See you tomorrow, guys.